a Donkey Kong too. 1,000 troops of Koopas couldn't keep me from you. Princess Peach at the end of the line. I'll make you mine. Oh, peaches, 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 peaches. I love you. Oh, peaches, peaches.
The Super Mario Brothers movie is probably the greatest movie I've ever seen in my entire fucking life, and that is no bias. There's no bias here at all. I just got done watching it for the second time. I watched it yesterday night, which was opening night, and then I watched it today after work in my work outfit. That's how fucking down bad I am for this movie, because it is fucking amazing. There are so many references packed in this movie. It is actually crazy how hard it is to keep track of what's going on, and that's a good thing, because there's so much like little Easter eggs and shit on screen that you can look at and find. And it's like, I haven't even found them all yet, but on my second viewing, I saw so much shit that I haven't saw in the first one. This is a movie that you have to see twice. Well, you don't have to, but like, you really do have to, because Jesus Christ, there's so much shit to watch, and it's just so enjoyable. But I'm gonna start with the cons, and by the way, this is a spoiler review. If you haven't seen the movie, click off this damn video, go watch the movie, and come back to me. My first con of this movie, there's not a lot. These cons are like from a nerd. Like overall, if you know Mario, and you enjoy Mario, and you want to see Mario, you're gonna fucking think this movie is flawless. Like, but if you're like a down bad Mario fan with all the lore and shit, like you just love like all the little details and shit, you're gonna have a little bit of nitpicks. And that's what they are. These aren't really cons, these are like more like nitpicks. I'm trying to think of one like actual con. I do have one actual con, and it's Luigi's screen time. He doesn't have a lot of screen time, but I'm not gonna lie, I thought he would have less than what he got. He did get a fair amount of screen time, but going into it, I thought he was gonna have a lot less screen time than what he did get. So I actually do appreciate that. It's not really a con then, it's like a nitpick. He could have had more screen time, but the screen time he had, it was amazing. Another con, we didn't really get to see what happened to Lumily after she was freed. All we saw was like an after, like when the credits were, right before the credits rolled, she was on screen and then she played a fucking saxophone for some reason, and then that was it. We didn't see like where she came from, how she was captured. We didn't see Rosalina at all in any sort of way, which was really weird to me. But yeah, that's my first like little con. Another, this is a medium rare con. This is like almost well done con, but this is like a medium rare one. Where the fuck was Toadsworth? My boy Toadsworth. Like, you just forget. So the new lore is Peach was raised, she wandered in through a pipe supposedly and was raised by toads. Where was Toadsworth? Like, he could have easily been one of the main toads that raised up Peach, but he was nowhere to be found in the movie. Instead, we got this blue guy who's like, it looks like he's trying to steal Toadsworth's drip. Like, he's wearing glasses, he has a deep voice, I love his voice, but he's like a generic blue toad with a blue jacket. Like, why couldn't that character be Toadsworth? Toadsworth would have been so much more iconic. Especially like it's almost like they dropped the ball with this one, because we had characters like Babam, King Boo, like we had all the iconic characters that were from the games, but Toadsworth is pretty iconic. I mean, if you played Sunshine, like the last time we seen Toadsworth was in Mario and Luigi Dream Team, and that game came out a long ass time ago, and then they just forgot that Toadsworth exists. I don't know why though. We were also missing Toadette, but she at least had like a little Easter egg. She was on a poster when they were in a band, and that was it. But we didn't see her on screen. But it's like, that's such a missed opportunity. The Toads are already like barely identifiable as it is. Having Toadsworth was like a good like balance of like so many generic toads, and then you had like special toads. But this special toad doesn't even feel that special. He's just wearing a blue jacket and has not blue glasses, but it's just not him. He's not him. You never will be him. You can't be him. Moving on. Damn, I'm actually trying to think of another con that I have. I know there's one. Oh, this is another small one. This is my last one probably, if I can think of more. Spike being redeemed. Spike, like, he had the biggest switch up. Like, he was a really cool villain. Like, I loved his, like, I love how he's like just a straight up asshole, and he's mad because Mario and Luigi left him to start a company, and he's like just there. He's like a bully. He's like, you loser, I'm gonna throw this little fucking paper cloth at you and shit. Like, he was a good like middle ground villain. And then he dead ass switched teams when at the ending, on the ending, he was like, they saved him, I guess, and they, like, Luigi, they forgave him like so easily. Like, that man was a menace. Like, I can't, he pushed Mario down, he tried to fuck with Luigi. I can't imagine what he was doing while they were on the job, because they quit for a reason. They quit because of him. Like, he was an asshole, and they just forgive him. And then once he's saved once, like, he's always been an asshole up until this point. He gets saved, I guess, by like two Koopas and like a Goomba or something, and then all of a sudden he's on their meat. Like, he literally hops on the meat. Like, I know it's hard to resist Mario's meat, but like, you can't just hop on that fast. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, the meat rating was actually crazy. Like, he dead ass switched teams. That was my last con. So those are my 3 cons. And other than that, like, I don't have much else to say. Okay, there is one more tiny eeny bitty eensy weensy, like, look at how tiny this is.
What did you do to my drink?
Peach wasn't really as bubbly as she is in the games. Like, yeah, she's a badass in the games. They captured that. They dialed that up to like 9,000. It's almost like she barely needed Mario, but like, she was a straight up like 100% badass. But there's a balance in the games. Like, she's a badass in the games, but she's also like a bubbly, like cutesy princess. She had a balance of that. Like, she could be a damsel and a badass when needed. But in the movie, it seems like there is no signs of like bubbly Peach. Like, she's just like super hard ass. Now we're gonna move on to the pros. The movie was too fast. That's another con. It went by way too fast. Like, I could just get stuck in this fucking world. Yeah, that is actually a big con. They zoom by it, like, with all the worlds and shit. Like, in the trailer, they have the transitions, but like, that's how the movie is. Like, they're just there and then they're gone. They're there, then they're gone. They're there, they're gone. I was hoping we would like stay in those worlds a little bit. At least like show off like the guys from Tostarena. They walk through it, but then we don't see any of the boys. Like, you know what I'm talking about? The boys. We don't see them. And it's just like, oh, okay, well, we go through it really fast and that's it. And other than that, that was my last con for real this time. All right, now we're on the pros. Oh my god, the pros. This movie looks fucking beautiful. Like, I cannot believe that Illumination made this shit. They would have the laziest, like, bland and boring, like, art style and animation in their other movies, but Nintendo was on their ass on this movie. This shit was fucking beautiful. Like, actually beautiful. Like, oh my god, I want a video game based off of these worlds in this environment, because like, the design of the levels and the world, and on top of it, the godly animation, and everything just looks so beautiful. Like, it's just, it brings a tear to this grown man's eyes. Like, that shit is absolutely beautiful. The fights were so fucking good. I was imagining like fights in my head, and I was making them as badass as possible, and I don't know how they were able to like overcome that. Like, they made it, the fights were so good, and I'm so glad they were, because everything is just like choreographed so well. It's just like Mario jumping on the Koopas, and everything just flowed with like the fighting combat. And I love, and the sound design on the punches, bro. Bowser would punch Mario and I would fucking feel that shit. That shit would like, that shit would like shake my soul a little bit. Like, my little balls would like tingle up and down, and like every punch, like, I was taking damage. Like, I was looking at my fucking arms and there was bruises on them bitches. Like, Bowser was dead ass breaking my bones, and I had a boner. But the music, it can be kind of jarring. There's like pop songs and like licensed songs, but like, when it's playing Mario music, it never misses. For the sequel, I just want only Mario songs. Like, I don't know why they felt the need to squeeze in like licensed music, but Bowser had his own song and it was fucking amazing. Like, when I heard Bowser singing his song, I was like, I told my friend, I'm like, dude, Jack Black wrote this shit and they just put it in. And then later in the credits, he dead ass wrote the song. Jack Black wrote this song, and it felt It was like the most Jack Black thing, but it works so well with Bowser. That's another thing. I actually love that they kind of like tackled Bowser's romantic side and just went 100% on it, just like how they did Peach with her badass side. Bowser is like 100% romantic towards Peach, and it shows so much. Usually it's like subtle in the games except for Odyssey, but like it was 100% in the movies. I love that. I love that side of Bowser. It's so funny and interesting to watch, and I just love that dynamic. And I'm glad how they handled it. They handled it much better than in Odyssey. After the first watch, I was concerned. I'm like, is Peach doing the same shit she did in Odyssey? No, it's like Peach, you can tell Peach is definitely interested in Mario, which is good. But in Odyssey, it felt like she didn't give a fuck about Mario. But it checks out in the movie. I love the way they act towards each other in the movie. And it's just, it's so cool to watch. Mario's fucking family is in this movie. Mario's mom, dad, two uncles, nephew. I don't know the terminology. We don't know their mom and dad's names, but we know there's an Uncle Anthony and an Uncle Tony. And they are all assholes towards Mario. Not really towards Luigi. Mario kind of takes like the blunt end of like all the hate because he's less shy than Luigi. But after they do their plumbing commercial, they sit at the table and they have a talk, and they just don't like that he quit his job and took Luigi with him to start a plumbing company. And it really hit so close to home, like towards my family. It's like it has similar vibes. Like they don't really like me doing this shit, but like here I am doing this shit. But it's, I don't know, it was such a cool, I still can't believe it that we get to see their mom and dad, and his dad is voiced by Charles Martinet, which is awesome. Like it was in the voice that he did, I didn't even catch it on the first watch. He did such a grounded voice, but it worked as his dad. He could have easily done that with Mario instead of fucking Chris fucking Pratt, but I don't know, I'm not gonna get into that. But yeah, we saw his family. His family was amazing. I literally couldn't register in my mind that it was his family, because it just didn't click. Like until I remember when I was first watching it, until Luigi said thanks mom, I freaked out, because when they were sitting there and eating, I was like, are they just eating with random people? There's no way this is their family. Miyamoto would never do this. Like it was just so jarring to me that it didn't even click in my head until he said thanks mom, and then that's when I lost it. I actually lost it. I'm so happy we got to see their family. I just wish we would know more about them and their names and their fucking origin and shit. But hopefully we'll get that in a sequel. Not like, I don't want it to take up a lot of time, but I just want to know like something, like surface level information about them at least. I think I covered everything. The movie flowed. It had a perfect flow. As a Nintendo nerd, I would have loved the slower pace during some of the flashbacks and lore, but this movie is fucking action packed. Like there is not a dull moment in the entire movie. There's always something happening. There's always something going on. And overall, it's just a really fucking solid movie. Plugging it into the Be Steady Steadometer, I'm gonna give that shit like 4 Goombas out of 7. Millie Goombas. Basically, that was a really good score. Let me rescore that. I'm gonna give that shit 25 coins out of 2. So that means it was really high. I don't know what the fuck I'm saying. Thanks for watching.